Okay, so we're moving on to Search Console. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this, you have to set this up. So, like our first one with Google My Business, or Google Business Profile, apologies, been doing it a long time. You have to set that up, right? But with Search Console, this is something where you have to have a website. Absolutely 100% need to have a website. And what you're going to learn from this is Google Search Console is what I call the poor man's SEO or search engine optimization tool. So if you don't want to pay for SEMrush or Ahrefs, and Joe, you could throw those in the chat. Those are some SEO software. Ubersuggest, that's Neil Patel's software. There's a whole bunch of them, right? But I do want to mention that this is a free tool. So that's why I call it the poor man's, because I don't care rich or poor. I learn a lot from this tool. And I will tell you recently, it really helped me understand like a client's data was not being tracked right. So I really do appreciate this is one of my favorite tools that Google gives us for free. So what it does is, first off, you have to set your website up. So you have to add your website, and you have to add your website site map. So that'll be your website URL goes here, and then you will be prompted at that moment to either put some code in your website, set up something on your domain. If you've had your website done by somebody else, this is where you're going to need a little support. If you did your website in something like Wix or Shopify, there will be support articles on how to do this. So don't fret, okay? But once it's set up, you will get a lot of information. And I'm going to go into the live one now. So I did want to mention, for those of you who are like, I just want to show you, again, you come here, you wouldn't have seen anything. You would have add a property. And so right now I have a client who doesn't have hers set up yet. And I'm not going to do it live, but I just want you guys to see so we just did a new website for weddings in the Bahamas. And when I click here, this is what you'll see. It'll ask you to verify ownership. And the way it will do that, it will say to add HTML tag, Google Analytics if you have it, Google Tag Manager. These are the two we're going to talk about next. Or you're going to add your domain name, and you're going to get your provider to add something in. And she happens to have GoDaddy. And so again, if you're not sure how to do this, you can get this information and call GoDaddy, and they will walk you through this. They are very helpful. Okay, so once this is done, you will then see it will say verified, and you won't get this data right away. This is obviously, we've been online for a really long time, but really quickly, I'm switching to another account. We just launched Shrine Tattoo about 5 months ago, and so you can see how nicely this is coming in. So the other thing that you're going to need to do, and every website should have it, is you're going to have to add what's called a site map. So your site map usually can be found by going to your website /sitemap.xml. And again, Wix, Shopify, Squarespace, any of them, they all have sitemaps. If you have a problem, go through those platforms and they will get them for you. And then once you have that URL, you would then add it into that area for sitemaps. And you have to give it 24 hours, and it then will tell you that it's been successful. This is very helpful because it tells you when it was added, and then it tells you the last time it's crawled. So for those of you who are really new to Google, etc., you think about your website, Google basically comes through with a bot and goes through your website and finds every link on your website and clicks on it like a human does. And that's how it picks up all the pages in your website. So that's why I call this kind of like the poor man's SEO tool, because if you're finding you're not being discovered on Google for the business that you're in, you may need to, one, make sure this is set up, and then two, you want to give it a little time, but once it is, you will be able to click on this link called performance and do full report. From here, you will then be able to see below all the keywords that people are finding you for. So I'm showing you mine, right? But bear with me. Let me get back to, that's ours. There's shrines. So you can see shrine tattoos. So they're being found for their name, but then they're being found for their name plus the area that they are near. So they are actually in East Providence, but they're also being found for Tattoos Providence. So that's a good thing, because someone who doesn't know your business name, you want to be found for what you do and sometimes the area, especially for you all who have local, hyper local businesses. This is really helpful. This is another thing to note. This is being found for tattoo places near me. So now we can see, and this is just letting me know that she's actually ranking for this. And what's really cool about this, so I won't share her data, but I'll share mine, is you can see me, right? There's my name, but you can then up here on the top right, hit export, and I'll open a Google Sheet just because it's faster. It will show you every keyword you're ranking for and where you are in the ranking. So as soon as this decides to load, I can show that. Now, if we also look over here, it's going to tell you what pages are being indexed. So you're going to see which pages are getting the most traffic from your organic, not paid, not the maps. This is people coming into your website. And this is an article I wrote years ago, and it's still popular, and we have it edited at the top that says it's no longer, but we get people come in from it and then they go other places on the website. So you can see the pages that actually bring in the most traffic. And so now coming back here, it shows me the queries, the number of people that clicked, the times that it was actually seen in Google. So somebody probably typed technology therapy group and how many times it was actually seen there, and what position I'm in. So I should be in position 1 for my business name. But you can see, like, down here, I am in position 28 for a term called Icon Finder. And for those of you who don't know it, it's a really great tool, so go check it out. But I don't mind not being on the first page because I don't need to be on the first page for that. And so the goal here with this tool is that you can spend some time looking at what you're ranking for and how well you're doing. And for those of you who are doing your SEO yourself, this is a great way for you to see how well you're doing. If you're working with someone, then this can be also a wonderful way for you to understand what that person is doing. The other thing I want to show you here is there's countries, and in the countries section, it tells me the predominant countries. So I do want to point out that you can actually add a filter up at the top and do country and say, I just want to see how well I'm doing in the United States. You cannot dig in more than doing the United States. I cannot do New York. I cannot do Rhode Island. I cannot do California. I can only do the countries. So that is one thing that I want to mention. Okay. And then the other thing is, once you've set this up for your business, you'll be able to do comparisons. So you can see that, how am I doing the last 28 days versus the previous 28 days? And it will tell me if I'm doing better or worse. And it will also allow me to do year over year. So the last 28 days this year over last year. And it will give me some insights. And we've dropped off, and I have to figure out why that's happening. And that's important because, you know, algorithms change, different things happen, but what words did I rank for last year then I'm not ranking for this year. And I want to mention that you should be looking at this through the lens of like how well your business is doing. So it's very important. Understand that. The last thing I want to make a mention of is lots of people have seen a drop. So for those of you who have Search Engine Console, if you've had a drop, it may be AI related because less people are going to sites now because of the AI snippets. So I do want to mention that is something that has been happening. And as you guys can see, I could probably have done a whole class on just this tool. So just a reminder that you can export your keywords. And then the other thing that I didn't show on the screen is another part of SEO is how many people link into your website. So inside of this tool, there's a section called links, and you can actually click on that and it will show you all the websites that link to you. So you'll be able to see how much you're getting from other businesses into your business.